Welcome to Wandering the Wild Mess, the podcast for anyone starting over, navigating a new chapter, or rewriting their story. I'm Heather Morgan, and if you've ever thought to yourself, what am I doing with my life? You're in the right place. Here we take the lessons in the messes, reframe the hard moments, and remember that even the wildest stories always work out. I'm so happy you're here. Now let's wander this wild mess together. Think of it like we're all just running different races in different seasons of life. And what looks small to one person might actually be monumental to another. Because sometimes winning looks like first place, and sometimes winning is simply finding the strength to show up at all. I was thinking about that recently while running a race, and I know you need to hear this. Welcome to Wandering the Wild Mess with Heather Morgan. I am so happy you're here. Hi, y'all. I want to go over why this is going to help you feel so much more at peace with where you are in your life. And the real key thing that I took away from realizing that showing up is winning. And it really matters more than winning. And when you even get to the next layer of it, winning is really subjective. It's all perspective. There's people that you see things and you go, oh, they won at life. But to them, they may be so farther behind than they ever thought. And that's why everything really comes down to how you view it. And if you've been listening along to the podcast for a while, you know I am one that loves to make a story out of everything. And so I wanted to talk about something that I feel like so many people will feel more at peace and really resonate with. It's when I was recently, I felt this random pull to sign up for a 5K in Nashville. And if you've listened to earlier episodes, you know I had a bit of a, runner girl career. I wouldn't call it a career, but I at one point in my life, I ran a half marathon. That's the longest distance I ever ran. But the discipline that I acquired from the 12 weeks of running consistently 5 days a week to achieve an under 2 hour half marathon was it was a really impactful part of my journey when I look back on it, just because it gave me so much discipline. And it was one of those things where if you know, if you don't run at all and someone's like, they're a run, to say you're a runner, it feels like you have to earn that title, and you never know when you actually earn it. Does it mean when I run once? Does it mean when I run a 5K? Does it mean when I hit a certain, mile per minute? And so anyways, but I felt this pull to to sign up for this race. And I hadn't really ran a consistent 3 miles since last Thanksgiving, and I didn't train for it per se because it's no pressure, short distance race. But I didn't really know why, but I thought one of the parts and one of the things that you've probably noticed is that in this shift of identity from super messy to trying to really position myself into this new, less messy and more growth oriented, becoming my best self era, I was like, I kind of miss that feeling of getting up early and being at the park, and there's all these other runners, and it's just kind of a fun vibe. And if you've listened to other episodes, you know how important I truly know self-concept is a key piece of creating the life that you want. And so you should do more of the things that are aligned with the person you want to become. And I thought being outside early morning with a whole bunch of other people that are aiming to be active feels very aligned for me. So I'm going to sign up. And I invited a couple people, but everyone kind of had plans. So it was fine. I was like, I can do it by myself. And so I go to the race, and really I realized that when I'm there, I'm running it, and during the race, sorry, I'm thinking back to just the whole feeling, but as I'm going through the process, it's a timed race and there's a ton of people. And as I'm running through, I didn't really have like, I'm going to run so fast. It was more like, definitely like in my personal goals, I was like, run it under 30 minutes, which is not extremely hard if you've ran races before, maybe if it was your first time. But, and then I was like, and don't walk, like, don't stop. That was like my two goals. And I think it's always fun to go in with goals, but then also give yourself grace, you know? But so I go in and I'm running it. And as I'm doing it, I realize that there's like people that will go in front of you. You see the same people, you know? And it's never like a competition specifically for them. But I realized that as I was going down, when there's a downhill, I'm always like, that's kind of where I'm like picking up speed. And I would pass someone. I could pass like a couple of people, the same people, a number of times. And each time I would pass them, sometimes they'd be going like they would be winded. So they'd start walking. And then they would suddenly see me pass. And it's like they would get a wind of like, I gotta go. And what I realized about that is, and I was thinking this in my head as this is happening, because I'm not being competitive with them, but I realized that they're seeing me continue to go, and that motivates and inspires them to keep moving. And that really made me think that is how life is. And that is why it's so important for us to continue moving through life towards our goals and the things that we want and keep going, because it inspires people as they're passing me. And then I'm like, keep going, Heather. Maybe you'll pass, you'll pass them. They'll pass you. And it's really like this exchange of energy that's like, look, we're all just running this race together. And I don't know when they started. And, everyone starts at different times in the race and all of that. But it's just so fun to kind of realize that everyone takes from others. And as we passed around, it was kind of like a roundabout. So you kind of went back through the same way you came. You're passing these people that are much more behind, and you just see them smiling. And there's this man in front of me, and he was like high-fiving the people that were still running, just very motivational. And I thought it was so kind. And I was just thinking, like, as I'm passing those people, like, this is life. We're all just running this race. You see these people and some are farther behind, but you don't even know what it took for them to show up, to wake up and get to the race and actually do what they said they're going to do. And that's what I thought of with every single person there. Because sometimes I think we take for granted the amount of time and energy it takes for some people, or even on our own selves some days, to get up and do what we say we're going to do, even if that means getting up earlier than we say, pushing ourselves in ways that are uncomfortable. That is a win. And there was someone there that was definitely, surely nervous. It was their first race. It was probably something that someone was like, I don't think I can be a runner. Like, am I going to be able to run this? And they're feeling the pressure of that. And then some people were like literally getting there and they were like, this is a victory. I'm so proud of myself. And everyone at the race has a different story. And that's so true to life and where you are, that you should always be proud of yourself for showing up when you say you will. And at the end of the race, there's people that ran it, in 16, 17 minutes. Incredible. And for them, that could have not even been the best time. And they could have been like, I could have done better. And then there's someone that ran it in 30 and was like, that was my best time. I'm so proud of myself. And then there could have been someone else that walked the whole time, but they finished. And they were happier than the person that won first place. Because life is all about perspectives and showing up based on your own challenges and your own strengths and your own talents. And so when something comes naturally to someone and it's not natural to someone else, showing up alone, that is a win. And I want to remind you of that, whatever you're going through in life, because this is really a journey and we're all cheering each other on. And there's going to be people in front of the race and there's going to be people walking in the back. No matter where we are, everyone has the ability to win in their own mind, whatever that looks like for them. And it doesn't have to feel competitive. There's enough winning for everyone. It can just feel motivating that a whole bunch of collective of people all showed up to prove something to themselves. And I think that's the kind of mindset that will most benefit us is when we can think, I'm doing this for myself because I want to show up for myself, and success is it's defined differently by everyone. And a win is relative to the season that you're in. And when I think back to starting my life over, some days the win was just getting through the workday without crying. Some days the win is just not completely falling apart when you're at your lowest point. Sometimes the win is not doing that thing that you know isn't going to help you in life, that harmful thing you've been avoiding. And that if that's all you did was avoid that thing, that strength is a lot. And I surely talked about this before, but since we're on the topic of winning, I want to remind you how important it is to remind yourself each day of how proud you are of the ways you showed up for yourself. And when you do the things you say you're going to do, it's like, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you, because when it's almost like crossing the finish line. It doesn't matter how fast you got there. It doesn't matter if you wanted to quit 5 times during the race. It doesn't matter. Once you cross that finish line, I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud of you, to yourself. Because every time you get up and show up for yourself and do the thing that really doesn't feel like something you want to do, and you cross that finish line, that is a win. And that is something to be proud of. And the more, and I go back to neuroscience, this is literally human psychology and neuroscience backed proof. When you are giving that positive reinforcement to yourself and showing yourself that you can show up, it will continually help you rewire and repattern your brain for more of that. And so instead of being upset about your time, being upset about this, saying, well, I could have done better, it's no, I finished. The better comes with the continual reps. Finishing is the win. And I think we would feel so much less pressure on ourselves if we would realize just showing up is enough sometimes. Just showing up. And I want to tie this into the reminder, though, that just because you showed up doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Because I think back even into making the decisions in my life to start over. And it was a really, really, really hard decision to actually go through with getting divorced, let's say. Like harder than I think anyone can understand unless they've been and lived it themselves. And I'm sure there's something in your life, even if you haven't been divorced, that you're like, that decision was really, really hard for me to make. And even when you make that really hard decision, like showing up to the race you don't want to run, or doing, even though you know it's good for you, or making a hard decision in your life, even though you know it's the right one, that doesn't mean that once you get there, that it removes all the hills on the way. Because there will still be moments you want to quit, moments you doubt yourself, moments you surprise yourself and you're like, I cannot believe I'm doing this. It's so amazing. And so I just want to remind you too on this journey is that just because you finally choose yourself doesn't mean the race suddenly becomes easy. And I think that's why you need to remember that just finishing is the win, because it's truly life is moments of continually choosing to start something that you know is good for you and finish it over and over again, knowing that it's probably not going to be comfortable or easy the whole time through. And believe me, in all of the work that I've done and all of the reading, studying, I love this stuff. Mindset, neuroscience, reading everything, personal growth. The one truth is that there is no perfect formula to easy. I looked for the easy mode button. And you know what I found? It's within your perspective. You have to become all right with being continually uncomfortable. You have to disassociate uncomfortability with you're doing it wrong, you can't do it, you're being rejected, you're not worthy, you're not good enough to be there. Do you think of those people that wanted to come to the race and they're like, well, there's going to be people that run it in 16 minutes. Like what? I couldn't even run. I mean, someone's probably thinking I can't even run 1 mile in 16 minutes. But does that mean they don't show up? There are so many times in our life where we just think we can't we can't do something because someone else has done it so much better than us already. But that is not true. We are all running different races. We are not here to stay small because other people have already won. Do you think like when the first person crossed the finish line, everyone just stops and like, it's over, we lost, you know? No. And I think we just need to sometimes think more about that in life, that not everything is, oh, it's over now. We lost. And I remember even tying it back to, again, changing my life and getting divorced is like, all right, well, I tried marriage. I lost. That's it. It's over. Like I tried my best, guys. Couldn't do it. And it's not really that. And I think I held on to that for a minute. Like if I couldn't do it then, could I do it now? But yeah, I could. I definitely could. And I think I could knock it out of the park. And I think it's all because of the mindset that you bring into anything you do from life. And so I don't want you thinking that because you've felt failure in the past or because you haven't finished things as fast or as quickly as you thought you should have by now, that that's it for you and it's time to throw in the towel. Because it's not over till it's over. You push all the way through. That it doesn't matter what happens at the beginning. It matters how you end. I truly believe that. And I think that's the way we keep showing up for ourselves is by realizing it ain't over till it's over. And I also want to lastly kind of tie this up with one thing that hopefully will keep you in it, because I know sometimes when you're in a low point, you're like, okay, I hear you. I have to keep going. I don't really feel like going. Like, this is exhausting. But there is beauty in the being in it. I know sometimes like while I'm running this race, and y'all, I love that you guys know me, that some of you that are listening that have listened so long that you're probably like, yeah, I could totally see where she's thinking, because I'm such an overthinking mind, and it makes me want to cry because I'm a baby. I'm such an emotional feeler. But when I'm running it, and I literally feel like my quads are like so heavy. I'm just like, okay. But while I'm running it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this weather is perfect. Look at that tree. Look at this cool little, we like went over this little like, really, Heather, you can't think of the word, bridge. which is very reflective of life, like this little bridge. And then one was like wobbling. So it's kind of fun, like do. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is the journey. Like, yeah, like, I am getting a little winded on this part, like maybe when I push myself up the hill a little or whatever, but like, this is kind of like fun. Like, I got my playlist going. Like, I am just like, if you can get in your head and be like, this is fun, like, this is actually enjoyable, even though it's kind of not enjoyable, it really is a game changer. That's anything in life. Like, if you're like doing that thing like you don't want to do, aka your taxes, but you're like lighting a candle and making a little mocktail and making it like a whole, like, look at what I get to do. I literally did that recently, so that's why I thought of it. But these are the game. I literally have to. It's kind of like a childlike vibe. Sometimes for things that really are uncomfortable, we've got to find a way to push ourselves through them. And I was talking to a friend recently, and she's like, "I am a little different. I like to be hard on myself. I need to be like, you can't even do this. Like what?" And I think that can work for people as long as you're still kind to yourself. I just always am like, I don't think it serves you to beat yourself up consistently without, like, tough love is one thing, but you really need to make sure that the love for yourself is there foundationally, because it's so key to you being able to truly replicate that in your value to the rest of the world. It's just an important foundation. So I understand tough love, but I really, everyone has different ways, but I love to come from like, because you love yourself, that's why you show up. Because you're worthy of the life you want, that's why you show up. Because you know that the gifts and the talents that you specifically have in this world need to be shared with the world. You're going to keep showing up over and over. And there is joy along the way. And you are motivating people along the way. As someone passes you and you see that, you're like, let me turn it up. And I actually want to say at the end, which just goes back into this girl kept, me and her were back and forth at the end of the race. And, I could tell that, she noticed, like, it was enough times. And right before the end of the race, she had passed me and she picked up speed and was pretty far ahead. So I do this thing, and I usually do, and it's not just, but it's kind of, interesting when there's actually someone I've been doing that with throughout the end of the race. And I am like, I love to push myself when I know I'm at the end of something. Like, even recently, I got like a personal trainer, and it's like, once I know I'm at the end, it's like, they're like, where'd that strength come from? And I'm like, because I know it's at the end. And that's just kind of what I've always done. But so I'm like, I'm going to start just booking it. But then I thought about her, and I was like, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to pass her. But then I'm like, that's not rude. That's just what you do. Like, and it's so funny that that thought even crosses my mind, but I just booked it past her. And it wasn't about beating her. It was about pushing myself. And I don't even know if I beat her, because I don't even know when she started. You know what I mean? But I say that to say that there's moments where we know we can push ourselves much harder than we do. I could have ran much faster. And sometimes it just takes a moment to be like, I can do this. I can do this. And I'm going to show myself that I can. And I know whatever you're going through right now, whatever feels hard, I promise you it is not on your plate because you cannot manage it. It is not given to you without the strength to get through it. It is not on your journey because you have no way of overcoming it. That I do know. And I want to remind you. And the journey, like I said, it's beautiful. And it's not always because you're winning, but it's because you're experiencing it. And that is a win in itself. So wherever you are in your race right now, whether you feel behind, exhausted, lost, or like you're finally catching momentum. I am proud of you for continuing, because showing up counts more than we give ourselves credit for. Now, if you know someone needs to hear this, send it along. Let them find some peace and joy in just showing up for themselves. I know there's so many of us feeling like uncertainty now, and showing up day in day. You don't have to solve every problem. You don't have to plan out every moment of 5 years from now. Just show up to what you know will move you in the direction of the life that you want for yourself. This was Wandering a Wild Mess with Heather Morgan. You matter. Thank you for wandering the wild mess with me. If today's episode helped you see your story a little differently, I'm so glad. Make sure to share it with someone else who might need it. Keep listening for more lessons, reframes, and reminder that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. Until then, keep trusting the mess.